In this video, we're going to take a look at the pages shelf and how to do one kind of animation in Tableau. I'll show you a couple of examples. One is a population pyramid and the other one is animating a line chart. I'll see you in a bit. There may be a couple of reasons why we might want to use our pages shelf. First, we may just want to break up our view, either while we're looking at our charts on screen or printing it on paper. A second reason is animation. When you drag a value over to the pages shelf, it becomes a discrete field, and each distinct value is considered a page. So basically, any pill you put in the pages shelf will be considered the reason for a page break. Let's take a look at a very simple example first. Let's say we drag over subcategory, and let's say we have sales, and let's say we want to view this by region. We can drag region over to the pages shelf, and we can see right now a couple things. First, your title actually changes. It incorporates the page name right away, and you're also going to see a page control. The page control allows you to move forward a page, move backwards a page, or jump to specific pages. And in the pages control, we can flip through the different pages. So for example, right now is central. If you click on the arrow right beside this value, it goes through east, south, and west. Where the pages shelf is also significant is when we are printing this sheet. So when we go to File, Page Setup, in here, we're going to see options under the pages shelf. So when we are printing this out, we can choose to print the current page only. So in this case, we're only printing west, or we can print all pages. So let's just give that a try. And in this case, I'm just going to choose all pages. So when I go to File, Print to PDF, and let's click OK. We can see right now in our printed PDF that I actually have 4 pages, and each page is identified by the page name. So as we scroll through, page 2, page 3, page 4. So this is one use of a pages shelf. It allows you to print one at a time. Another possible reason you may want to use the pages shelf is for animation. I'm not sure if you've had this experience, but it is actually quite fun to have a paper notebook and draw something at the edges of those pages and then flip them over. Because flipping the pages animate whatever drawings you have. And that's technically what the pages shelf does as well. Population pyramids allow us to see the composition of a population and how it changes over time. For this demo, I've gone ahead and downloaded a dataset from the British Columbia Population Projections. This gives population projection up to the year 2041. So I'll drag over the population projections CSV file that I've downloaded. Now there's also a few things that I need to clean up for this particular dataset. So I'm going to hide region. And LT1 means age of less than 1. So I'm just going to rename this to less than 1. And I'm also going to need to pivot all the population. So in here, we're actually seeing that each age group is treated as its own measure, and it's going to make it really challenging for us to do any analysis or visualization on this dataset. So I'm just going to pivot all of these columns and convert them into rows. So let's select all of these values, right-click, pivot, and we're just going to call these age bin, and this is the population. Now we also need to create calculated fields for males and females. So create calculated field, and in this case, male. We'll need to create another one for female. So create calculated field called female. The logic is pretty much the same. The only thing we're going to change is the code. Okay, so we are pretty much ready. Let's take our age bin, put that on rows. Let's take the male population, the female population, and in this case, we're going to remove total. We don't want that to skew all of our numbers. Let's exclude this. Let's just also change the color coding so we can differentiate between male and female. Now in this case, for a population pyramid, typically the oldest age bin, the oldest population will be shown at the very top. So we're simply going to sort this. And because our age bin is actually alphabetical, it's alphanumeric, what it sees is that the less than sign, it gets sorted at the very top. So we just need to manually correct some of the sorting. So we just need to move this down, and 5 to 9 also needs to move down after 1 to 4. Now for the population pyramid, we're also going to need to reverse the axes. So instead of male starting at 0, we're going to reverse so that 0 is actually at the middle. So when we right click on the axes, there's an option in here to reverse the axes. So let's reverse that. Now the final thing we need to do is we need to put year on the pages shelf. We want to show this chart per year. So we take this year, we put that on the pages shelf, and notice that year is green, it is continuous, but the moment it gets dropped onto the pages shelf, it becomes blue or discrete. As we've seen in the previous example, the page name automatically gets added to the title, and you also get a pages control. And notice in here, the pages control actually has a play button. So we're going to use that shortly. Let me just clean this up a little bit. I'm just going to make the title a little bit more prominent. So double click on the title. And let's just leave the page name, which is currently year right now. Let's make this a little bit more prominent. Now let's try to take a look at the page control a little bit more closely. So the page control has all the values you have in the pages shelf. What it also has is a way for you to move back a page, move forward a page, and you can also play the animation. And the animation is really flipping through the pages either faster or slower. And these are your speed controls. Now there are also options to show history if you need it, and we're going to use it in the next example. But right now, we can show marks history for selected, for highlighted, manual, or all. And then there's also a few other options that may get enabled or disabled depending on your data set. So for now, I'm simply going to click on the play button. So if I click on the icon that has the 3 bars, it makes it a lot faster. So we can see here now the population projection for British Columbia from 1986 to 2041. Let's play that again. And the changes in the population composition have socio-economic implications. And it's just something that we need to address and plan for. One possible adjustment you may want to do is to incorporate a new feature in Tableau called Animations. So under Format, you will find a new option called Animations. And this is really just a toggle. It allows you to toggle whether animations are on or off. And depending on what you're doing with your dashboard, this is something that you can add. Animations really work hand in hand with filters, but it can also work with pages. But just be careful, because depending on the number of values that you're flipping through, your dashboard and the animation may become more choppy. So just be careful about that. One thing to note though, that animations will work in Tableau desktop, but it may be turned off or not supported in Tableau server. So just be careful when you're using these. Make sure you know the server settings of the server you're publishing to before you start relying on these options. Now, the next example I want to show you is about how to animate a line chart. Animating charts in general can be effective. It can create a great impact, but just be careful not to do it too much or not to do it in a way that is distracting in your dashboard or in your presentation. So in this case, I'm going to create a time series graph. I'm going to right-click, drag, order date. I'm going to choose continuous month. And I'm going to put sales on rows. And just for demonstration, I'm going to drag category and put that in color. So right now we have a line chart. We can copy over our date field from the columns shelf. So Control drag, put that on pages. And again, note that even though this is a continuous date, the moment we drag it over, it's going to become discrete. So it becomes blue. Right now, the default mark is a line. We're going to change this mark. And the reason we need to change this is actually we want to show history in our animation. We want to see kind of the lines get connected. But right now with a line mark, we don't have an option to show either the mark history, the trail history, or both. So in our case, we're going to change the mark to a circle. And once we change this to a unit shape, like a circle, when we go to show history, we can actually now select to show both marks and trails. So I'm going to select this, and I'm also going to select to show history for all the marks and the trails. So when I click the play button right now, it actually gives me this animation. So it's like the circles that are jumping, and the lines that get drawn, they're the trails. They're the path of the circle. Now this is where you can probably use the animations feature in Tableau. So under Format Animations, if you turn this on, you're just going to see that the animation looks and feels different. So let's try that again. So you can kind of see a more smooth transition for the circles. You kind of see that they're kind of jumping and you see the actual change. Note that there are other options available for you for the animations pane. You can change the duration, you can change the style, it's either sequential or simultaneous, and you can also target specific sheets. And that's it for the quick tutorial on Pages. I hope you found something useful. I hope you found something that you want to try or play around with. Again, just a last word of caution. Animations are fun, they're fun to play with, but there will always be a place and time for them. So just take caution when you incorporate this in your projects. Stay safe, have fun. I will see you again next time.